Ahead, fine print.
It's dangerous when we're working together.
It's really great.
The case of the married mystery writers. All this month we've been dropping in on notable couples, and this morning we meet a couple where both partners have worked hard to establish just one name. As Anthony Mason is about to show us, the explanation lies in the fine print.
They were 27 when they met.
We wanted the same things. You know, we wanted the life of artists, writers.
29 when they married.
The honeymoon cruise was on the Staten Island ferry.
You just went back and forth?
Yeah, back and forth.
Annette Brafman was an aspiring writer. Marty Meyers was a struggling actor.
This is me in Zorba.
It was the early 60s. Marty, looking for any exposure, had even managed to get himself into the background of a Charles Kuralt story about beat poets.
See, there I am again. I look good. Look at that hair.
That's the Marty I met, you know, and he was very cute. He was really cute.
Nearly 40 years later, Marty and Annette Meyers are still together.
And he has never bored me one moment in 39 years. He's made me nuts. He's made me crazy. I've wanted to kill him.
And in this marriage, murder is a real option. You see, Marty and Annette are more than a couple. They're collaborators. Under the pen name Mon Meyers, they've co-authored half a dozen murder mysteries.
It's dangerous when we're working together. He's a night person, I'm a day person.
Annette works in a carefully ordered corner of their New York living room. Marty writes in a cluttered den at the back of the apartment.
And it's usually strangely written. He just writes, you know? And I edit in my head sort of as I go along. So it's very difficult.
And I work like an actor. The trick of being a good actor, if you're creating something, is have no governors on you whatsoever. You go blah! So you just put it all out there. Maybe 50% is garbage. So what? You throw it away. Or you rewrite it.
I throw it away.
You're encouraging her. We both each want to be boss.
That's tough.
Yes.
That's a problem.
Yep.
In a marriage, it's very difficult. And when you're writing together, oh, that's when it leads to murder.
You like Chinese food, huh?
As an actor, Marty Meyers could play a menacing character. In 1970, he was bad guy Stan Perlow on the soap opera One Life to Live.
I like a lot of rice.
Meyers' film career began in the opening scene of the 1967 film The Incident. He played the pool hall owner opposite an unknown actor named Martin Sheen.
Here's Marty, looking very young. It was Marty's debut in the movies. Right. Mine too, but he did a little better.
Marty Meyers went on to have a series of very small parts in very big films. He played the wedding photographer in Goodbye Columbus. He was a face in the crowd in The Producers and a man on the street in Rosemary's Baby.
This was a great job. First day I walked to my mark. Second day I walked away from my mark. Third day I said my line. Fourth day I milled in the crowd. And the fifth day somebody said, "What are you doing here? Go home."
And when parts were hard to come by, in the 70s, Marty wrote a series of pulp private eye novels.
I was just writing because I was frustrated. The way she baked in order to forget the fact that she couldn't get published, I wrote in order to forget the fact I couldn't get a part.
While Annette was waiting for her breakthrough as an author, she worked as the production assistant to Broadway legend Hal Prince.
I raised the money for the shows. I got to know all the investors. Hal did not like that part. Hal wanted to be a director.
She helped raise money for Cabaret, Company, Fiddler on the Roof, and A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum. But after 15 years, Annette felt it was time to leave the theater and Hal Prince.
Hal said to me, "Oh, darling, you'll never be happy out there." And I said, "Why not?" And he said, "Because you have an overdeveloped sense of injustice." And I do. and he was so right. And that's what makes a good mystery writer.
Annette then unexpectedly stumbled into a new career as a headhunter on Wall Street. Then at lunch one day, a client excused himself to go to a phone booth.
I could see him huddled over the telephone, and I thought, what if I open the door and he slides out dead? And that's how it started.
She called it the big killing. It would be Annette Meyers' big break.
So that's the way Smith and Wesson were born. I used two women, very successful headhunters, who stumble over bodies on Wall Street.
Then as the series took off, sitting at home one day, Annette suddenly had a vision.
And I looked up and I saw a figure standing there that I call a hologram.
The image of a Dutch lawman in 17th century New York wouldn't leave her alone.
And the Dutchman kept haunting me. And so I finally said to Marty with trepidation, because we fight about everything, including how to stack the dishes in the dishwasher, I said, do you think you might want to write this with me?
When she said, I've had this vision, this hologram, what did you think?
I thought she was nuts.
But Marty eagerly agreed to collaborate.
This was a cow path. All the streets in New Amsterdam were cow paths.
And the couple began to research the early history of New York.
And this is called Stone Street because it was the first paved street in what is now New York.
The first thing I did, I wanted to see where we were, so I started with a map. I drew a map of the island as I saw it and as I read about. And she says, what's that for? We don't need a map. And subsequent to that, for all the books, she negotiated through the agent and the editors, we must have a map for every book.
Well,
How quick she turned.
The readers like the
Oh,
map.
but you don't need a map,
Yeah,
right?
right.
Yeah, sure.
Who drew the map? In
You
the
did,
Dutchman?
and beautifully too.
Yes, right.
So how did you get through one book, let alone six?
We didn't. We
It
got
was-
through one,
it was
and we
so-
said never again.
Never say never again, of course. The Meyers have just finished their 7th historical mystery. Annette's also started another series set in Greenwich Village in the 20s.
And that's where
Where the
the body was.
And at age 67, Annette and Marty are still inseparable.
We don't have kids, so we're each other's best friend, sister,
And
brother,
parent, in a way.
parent. We take care of each other.
A few years ago, they did have a scary moment when Marty suddenly took sick and doctors warned Annette she'd better call her family.
I thought, oh my God, what am I going to do?
You
For
thought-
all that. And
you
then
thought-
I thought, how am I going to clean out that back room?
A heart bypass saved Marty and meant the Meyers were stuck with each other for a while yet.
And it's worked out fine.
Fine. That's a glowing endorsement.
Didn't she? Yeah.
Annette and Marty Meyers, a fine romance that's endured for nearly 40 years.